and welcome back to my channel, Lara Bakes. This week I'm doing something that I haven't done before, which is biscuits. And I'm going to do a Jammie Dodgers style biscuit, but not your normal round shape. So what I've got is I want to do heart shaped ones, which I've done before. So I will be using two cookie cutters. So once you've got your biscuit dough, you're going to cut some large hearts and then you cut a smaller one inside, so then you can see the jam coming through. You can do any shape you want. You could do round, you could do like the fluted round cutters, which gives like a nice scalloped edge, stars, any shape, but I'm just going to go on the theme of hearts and love. So I'm going to show you what you need. I'm going to put it in the description box like always. So what you're going to need this week is between 250 and 275 grams of plain flour, 115 grams of unsalted butter, 115 grams of caster sugar. You're going to need about half a teaspoon of vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste. You're going to need a large egg, and then to fill them, of course, some jam. And this is actually some homemade jam that I made a couple of months ago, so great use for that today. And I'm also going to be using my KitchenAid today. So if you don't have a KitchenAid or a stand mixer, you can beat it. So what we're going to do, we're going to beat the butter and the sugar together so it's nice and fluffy. You can do it with a wooden spoon. You want to make sure that your butter is soft though. And you can do it with a wooden spoon, there's no problem. I've seen recipes that say to do it with a wooden spoon. You can do it with a hand mixer if not, a hand whisk, or any stand mixer. I'm gonna go down the easy route today and use a stand mixer. So let's get started. So if you are using a stand mixer, you're gonna want the paddle attachment. That's the one that's gonna whip the butter and sugar into a nice, light and fluffy mixture. You're going to want to cut your butter into little cubes, just so it's easier to whip up. You don't want one big block, it's just going to take longer and it's not going to work as well. Just cut that into cubes. You can see it's been at room temperature. This is quite soft to handle. And also my oven is preheating at gas mark 4. And to that I'm going to add the sugar. So the butter and the sugar in there, and now what we're going to do, we're going to turn it on and beat it so it's nice, pale and fluffy. Starting it on a low speed, just so the mixture doesn't go everywhere. But once it's starting to break the butter up, I'm going to increase the speed. This is going to take a couple of minutes. Just going to increase that speed even more, just to make sure it really whips it up nicely. So, just to show you, see that's been whipped, it's quite light and fluffy. So now the next stage is to gradually add the vanilla extract and the beaten eggs. I'm going to start by going with half a teaspoon of the vanilla. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the egg, not all of it, just going to add it bit by bit. I don't want to overwhelm it with the liquid, so it looks like scrambled eggs. Let that beat. Add the rest in. Problem I sometimes find with the stand mixers is it doesn't always mix in the mixture, so it's still on the sides. So what I normally do is just get a spatula and just scrape down the sides, just to make sure that all the mixture gets added and mixed together, and also underneath. Give that another good mix again before we sift in our flour. So as you can see, that's now all mixed together nicely, it's not liquidy. So what we're going to do is we're going to sift over the plain flour. So get your sift, and I said earlier between 250 and 275 because if the dough is too sticky, you're going to want to add that extra 25 grams of flour. But let's go with 250 first and see what happens. big cloud of flour there. So we're going to put it onto a low speed because you don't want the flour to go everywhere. It is now on the low speed, it's folding in the flour with the butter, sugar and egg mixture. You want to see it come together. So you want to see it sort of start to form a dough, which it's starting to do now. Well, we're going to finish that off with our hands. So what we're going to do now is actually use our hands. So taking it off, just going to get all the mixture from the paddle and add it in. And we're going to now see if we need to add that extra bit of flour. Okay. So now I'm just feeling it with my fingers. So you want to lightly flour your surface. I'm just going to put all the mixture on here. It does feel quite sticky, but we're going to give it a little knead, and we might not need more flour. We'll see how it goes. Just trying to get all the mixture out on you as much as we can. So you just want to bring it together. The lightly floured surface is going to help bring it together, and it will lose its stickiness. That's what you want to do. You want to knead it until it's no longer sticky. And I think we're actually good to go. I don't think we need that extra bit of flour. Just give it a little knead. It's not like we're kneading bread. It's not like that. Biscuit dough is a bit more, well, I find a bit more delicate than that. It's just to make it sure it's all nice together. But what we are going to do is we're going to put this into the fridge for about 40 minutes. So you're going to flatten it into a nice disc because we are going to roll this out later. For now, that should be okay. Doesn't have to be too thin. I'm going to wrap this in some cling film and put it in the fridge. Like I said, your dough's going to rest in the fridge for about 40 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on for that amount. The longer you leave it, the harder it sort of gets. And the next stage is basically going to be rolling out your dough. So what you want to do in the meantime is get 2 baking sheets ready, 2 baking trays, and I'm going to line mine with some greaseproof paper, so they'll be ready to bake once we've rolled out and cut out our shapes. So just got a little bit of time now until that's ready. So as usual, I'm going to clear up, get my baking trays ready. Okay, so it's 40 minutes later. I've got my dough, and we can do this 2 ways. So you can flour your worktop and then flour your rolling pin and then roll out your biscuit dough. What I like to do, I like to roll it between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper. So you just sandwich it in between and then roll it, because that way it doesn't stick to your surface. I mean, if you flour your surface, it shouldn't stick, but then it's just, you get a nice even way of rolling it, I find, and I just prefer to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is split this into 2 sections, split this into 2 pieces, and then roll each one and then cut it as we go along. So I'm just literally going to break that in half and then roll it out. You don't want to roll it out too thick or too thin. So I'm going to go for about a pound size coin. That's what I'm aiming for. Yeah, so let's have a go. The dough is a bit hard where it's been chilling. But you can turn it around as we go. Make sure it's in the middle, so it will roll out nicely. I'm turning it to get an even roll, lengthways and widthways. Have a little peek. So it's quite thin actually. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So a little trick is you can dip the bottom into some flour to stop it from sticking to your dough. Now I have a tray ready. So I'm going to cut them all out first, and then you can re-roll the dough and roll it out, but you don't want to do that too many times because otherwise it's going to be tough, the biscuit dough. So you want to roll, if you do re-roll it, no more than 2 to 3 times. So I'm not going to get many biscuits because my cutters are quite big. Obviously the smaller you do it, the more you're going to get. Okay, so now I can peel away my dough. I'm going to transfer them to our baking tray. Okay, so I've got that dough, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll it back up into a ball, flatten it to a disc. I'm going to get that grease-free paper, and then roll it out again. Same process as before, I'm just turning the sheets so it can spread nice and evenly, lengthways and widthways. Dipping it in the flour again, and then I think I'm going to get 2 out of this. You may even need more than 2 baking sheets actually, because this is just half of the dough. But okay. Now rather than re-roll that, I'm going to get the other half from earlier on. And now I'm going to roll this one out. So essentially, I've got 6 biscuits out of that. I should get another 6 from this. Although there's going to be 12 hearts in total, you need to double it each one. So I'm going to have 6 biscuits out of this. But again, I've gone for quite a large shape. So if you go for smaller ones, you're going to get a lot more. And what I'm going to do with this tray actually is put it into the fridge, because these need to go back in the fridge for half an hour. Now this is where your second cut is going to come into place. You're going to cut your first shape, and then you're going to get the smaller one and put that in the middle of your first heart, because then that's going to show, that's where the jam's going to come through. So I'm then putting the cutter in the middle. Like with before, I'm just going to peel the dough around these biscuits. I can see I haven't rolled mine very evenly. It's gone quite thin at the edges, so you do want to try and make sure it's as even as possible. So you want the outside heart. So there you go, that's what you want. So again, I'm going to roll it out again. I've got all this extra dough. So I've got 6 in the fridge. So I want to make sure I get 6 of these. So we're going to have 6 biscuits overall. So here are my shapes. You can see not all even, but that's going to go in the fridge. Like I said, that biscuit dough is going to go in the fridge again for another half an hour. Because where this is quite soft now, if you bake it, they're going to spread quite a bit. But by putting it into the fridge, it's just going to firm it up that little bit extra. So when you bake them, hopefully they don't spread too much and they're going to keep their shape. But there's quite a lot of biscuit dough left. So I'm just going to put this in the fridge, and then later on, or even tomorrow, I've got enough to make some extra biscuits. So I did preheat my oven earlier and it's still on. So you could actually preheat the oven just at this stage, because it's quite a long time to have the oven on, but I've left it on now, so never mind. But yeah, so we're going to come back and then bake them later on. Okay, so I didn't film me putting them in the oven, but all I did was after half an hour, I put both trays in the oven between 12 to 14 minutes on gas mark 4. So the top shelf, well, the top shelf in my oven cooks quicker. The top layer was ready, and then I just took them out and then moved the bottom tray onto the top, and those cooked. Almost nearly burnt, but yes, I've got them ready. You want to wait till they cool down before you fill them. So the bottom halves are cool, but the top halves aren't. But again, I'm very impatient and I just want to finish them now. So I'm going to fill mine typical Jammie Dodger with jam. So I've got homemade strawberry jam here. You could fill them with lemon curd if you like, or fill them with Nutella. Love a bit of Nutella, but I'm just going to go simple with jam, sticking in with a theme. And then yeah, and then you're going to put the tops on top of them. So let me just show you. So here is like your bottom half, which is where you're going to put the jam on, and then you've got your top half that you cut out, and you're going to put it on top. And then to give it like a nice little finish, you might want to dust it with some icing sugar if you like. So I have some icing sugar and I'll be doing that. But yeah, I'll just show me filling them and then we get to try them. So I'm going to use a teaspoon. And what I'm going to do is, first you're going to judge it. Depends how much jam you like. So actually a teaspoon I think is more than enough for me. I don't like it too jammy. So just want to spread that. And then I'm just going to fill it on top. So I'm going to do that with all of them. And with your spoon you can just spread the jam around the biscuit. Again, if you like loads of jam, put as much as you want. There you have it. So I'm just going to give them a finishing touch. So for the finishing touch, I'm just going to get a sieve. It's good if you have a smaller sieve. I don't have a small one, but I'm just using mine, and just sprinkle some, don't want too much, but you just want a little bit of icing sugar just to give it a nice, pretty finish. There we go. I am happy with those. There you go. It's quite a simple recipe really. Just it is a bit time consuming when you have to put the biscuit dough in the fridge twice, but it's worth it. The shapes are not perfect, but again, I'm not here for perfect baking. I just want something that's going to taste good. Mine should have come out a little bit quicker, but doesn't matter. Yeah, let me try one and see how it is. This can get very messy, I can tell. Let's see. That was really yummy. I've got jam all over my mouth. But yeah, that is really good. Got a nice crunch, like a biscuit to have a crunch. And yeah, if you want to make homemade jam, I think just makes it even better. But these are delicious. So I hope you give them a go. I hope you enjoyed the video. And jam is currently dripping from my biscuit. But it's a really simple recipe. Anyone can do it. And yeah, happy baking. Carry on finishing my biscuit. I hope you liked the video. And hopefully see you next week. It's going to be my lunch now.